The views, opinions and information expressed during Youth Services podcast series are solely those of individuals involved. Any recommendations or advice during the podcast is general in nature and does not replace the need to seek professional advice. If you are in need of urgent assistance, please call 000 or the Kids Helpline on 1800 55 1800. Welcome to our Casey Youth Services podcast. I'm Ellie and I'm a youth worker from the city of Casey. In this episode, we have our very own incredible youth worker, Tarryn.
Hi guys, thanks for having me today, Ellie.
You are so welcome. So today's episode, Tarryn, it's about your mum-to-mum program. But before we kind of dive in to that a little bit deeper, I know that you're a mum and I just want to know, and the listeners surely want to know, what's the funniest story you have of being a mum? And you don't have to dial it down to one. We want to hear everything.
Oh my goodness, there are so many way too many to count. So there was this one time when I started to sort of break away from co-sleeping, and I put my son Princeton in his own bed, and I'd go to sleep in mine, and sometimes he'd crawl out of his bed and jump into mine. And one night I remember I was sleeping and he was just standing there staring at me, and I woke up with the biggest fright because it was like the middle of the night. So imagine this little dark figure just standing there, gave me the fright of my life. And I'm sure a lot of parents have experienced this. And then there was this other time where he's done this, but it was like the morning and I'd just woken up and I was half asleep, and he said, "Here, mummy, here." And I opened my hand and he put something in it, and I remember just opening my eyes properly and moving it closer to me, and it was a piece of his poop. So, yeah, I was like, okay, mum life.
Oh my gosh. Why would he do that? How old was he when he did that?
Oh, probably 3 it was during I think he was still maybe wearing a nappy, or he's just coming out of one. But it was so funny.
He's like, "Look, Mum, you'll be so proud of me. My bowels work." Oh my gosh, he sounds like so much fun. I cannot wait for him to get older and for you to tell all of these embarrassing stories. He's going to hate it.
Yeah, there are so many.
Because how old is he now?
He's 8 now, so he turns 9 at the end of the year. So yes, growing too fast.
Yeah, that's crazy. Well, I'm sure he won't be impressed with you exposing him like this, but maybe you can listen to it when he's a bit older.
Yeah, he'll laugh when he's older.
And I know you've been working so hard of the development of the mum-to-mum program. Just for a little bit more of a context, what's involved with the program?
So Mum to Mum is basically a safe space for young mothers to come and build friendships with each other, gain a greater understanding of the services within the city of Casey, a space where they can foster peer support, and we tackle sort of important conversations that are relevant to the young mother's interests and needs. So the program ultimately seeks to empower young mothers in the journey of motherhood while acknowledging the intersectionality of the young mother in today's society.
That's amazing that this is there, because a lot of mums coming into this new whole different world, they definitely need that support. And not only learning about what services are available, it's a way for them to develop friendships with other young mums in their area as well. So I think having people on a similar wavelength, they're going through the similar things, they can really relate. And I definitely think that will help them. They can learn from each other and expand from there. Is that something that you really want to get them to do, is to kind of make that friendship or that bond that they can kind of
100%, that space where they can create those friendships, and then outside of the program, hopefully they're taking those steps to continue on, having that social life outside of the program and building those friendships. And I think it's so important, like you're saying, it is so important. And I know, drawing from my own experience, when you're a young mother and you become a mum at a young age, you like all your other friends are doing other things, but your priorities have changed now. And so connecting young mums with each other, they've got that commonality where they're not going to be out partying and going clubbing and stuff. They've got different
priorities.
Yes, definitely. And so having that relatability is really important.
I think it's amazing what you're doing. And I hope that a lot of young people can hear about this program through this, not only this podcast, but through just kind of walking through the youth centre, because I just know it's going to be super beneficial for them.
Thanks, Al. Yeah, me too. I really do. And yeah, that's why we're doing it, isn't it? It's just to have that impact and create those spaces where they can learn and grow.
Exactly. And do you think there is a higher need for this in the Casey area? So I know that we just discussed why you've developed it and how young people can get the help that they need. But do you think there's like a significant importance for it in our Casey area, or do you think it's statewide?
Statewide, but speaking to the city of Casey area, and I don't know if you know this, Ali, but there are around 5,000 births per year. That's like,
wow.
That's roughly, and that's since 2018. And this figure would have increased as the population has. And in Cranbourne and Clyde, there are, in those areas, there are large numbers of young family households. So like, anecdotally from young parents, they've expressed their reluctance in wanting to join other mum groups due to the age gaps and feeling judged or unheard, which then puts them at risk of social isolation. And now more than ever with, COVID and the pandemic, they would feel the brunt of the restrictions in that they're unable to have those social connections, which are important to all of us, And so I feel like having mum to mum there, and we're lucky enough to be able to adapt most of our programs to the online space, they can access, that connection from the comforts of their own home.
Exactly.
And I think,
Sorry, go on.
I was just going to say, I think it's like an important space for young mothers to feel safe, supported, heard and empowered. And, Sorry.
And I think the fact that you are running this program, and please stop me if I am diving a little bit too deep or getting too personal, but you yourself being a young mum, you have been through this, so I feel like you'll be able to relate quite well with the young people who do have babies, because you've been through the same thing. Whether or not that, it doesn't really matter about the amount of support you have, like you still would have felt similar things as to these young people are feeling now.
Yes, 100%. I feel like, I didn't know of the services, and we have many awesome services out there, and I didn't know of them. And there's still services that I'm still learning about. And so I feel like that connection and education on services, and having those conversations that might be taboo in some families, households, it's really important. And I just feel like it creates that sense of empowerment, and that's what, creating that sense of community is all about. There's such a need for it.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely do agree. So coming up with the program, I know that you put a lot of work into just figuring out what you were going to do, but not the most important, but definitely to try and get people to look at it. How did you come up with the name of the program?
Oh my goodness. It was really it was no small feat. It was not an easy task. And I think you've done a lot of around naming programs too, so you can probably
It is so hard.
Agree. Yeah, it is. It can be. And I think there were a few names there on the list, and some were cliche or maybe a little bit lame or already taken. But I feel like Mum to Mum sort of was special because it encapsulates that theme of having that peer support and connecting young mums to each other. And then also that small fact that I'm a mum and I'm facilitating the program. So my thoughts around the name were like from one mother to another, but that's too long, right? So to condense it, Mum to Mum, like,
it makes sense. It makes sense. You read it and you're just like, okay, it's between mothers. That's just how it is. So you did really well, and don't sell yourself short because you have come up with so many great names from lots of the programs that we've done. So if anyone needs a hand with business names or anything like that, Tarryn is the person to go to.
You're exposing me, Ali.
That's what a podcast is all about.
Nah, that's love.
Do you have any big hopes for the future of Mum to Mum? It's like, do you see it going anywhere, or what do you want to do with this?
Yeah, so big hopes for the future. Probably like my one big hope, and I know it sounds a little bit cheesy, but it's ultimately to just make a difference. You know, I think when we create these programs and things, we don't just do it for our own benefit, but for the purpose of the people and serving them, creating spaces where people, and in our case, being youth workers, young people can come, learn and grow and be the best versions of themselves. So my big hope is to make that positive difference and help unite young mothers so they feel empowered and to build, you know, friendships and to access services. I think that's really important. But I also, once everything settles down and we go back to somewhat of a normality, hopefully we can facilitate the program in the physical space and maybe step out of the box a little bit and go on little excursions and things, because I know that young mothers have expressed that this would be so awesome if they could do these big things, but that's a bit of big blue sky thinking.
Yeah, and if you don't think like that, then nothing is ever going to grow. And just saying, in the future, I'm so coming on this program to volunteer because there is nothing better than baby cuddles.
Yes, oh, the best.
Literally makes everything negative go away.
It really does.
Even when they're crying.
Yeah, and it's great, even greater for you because you can give them back.
Yes, everyone always says that to me, and I was like, no, like I want to embrace this. I do. The only ever really experience that I ever had is obviously looking after my niece for so long. Numerous days, I'll never forget how hard it is, and my hat comes off to all mums. I remember one time she just wouldn't sleep, and she would only sleep on my chest and she wouldn't sleep on my partner's, and literally I can't sleep. I have to always sleep on my side. I remember locking myself in the bathroom and just giving her to my family, and I just cried because I was so tired.
No,
and I was like, pull yourself together, Ali. It's only been 7 days.
I love that. Like it is hard work being a mum, and I think like once you become one, you sort of understand the sacrifices that your mum made or your caregiver made, and you just like have this sense of just the biggest gratitude because you're like, okay, I get it now, Mum, thanks.
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
Sorry.
Didn't mean to do this to you.
Yeah, literally.
Circle of life.
Yeah.
So if we have any young mothers listening, and I hope that we do, how would they go about getting into this program or finding out about this program?
Yeah, so if you are a young mother or you know of one who would benefit from this space, then there is a booking link which Ali will kindly put somewhere where you can access it. Otherwise, to keep up to date, you can jump on our socials, I know we've done a few posts for Mum to Mum on the Facebook page, City of KCU Services, and KCU Service at KCU Services on Instagram, and there you'll see the link tree, which you can just click in the bio and it will come up and take you straight to the booking page.
Cheeky plug, for sure.
Yeah, I love it. So, but if you have any other questions or want to know any other information, you can contact me personally.
Amazing. And I will definitely pop everything in the description below. And then if you do have any other questions, please just give one of our numbers a call and ask to speak to Tarryn, and she will help you out.
Yes, definitely.
So, Tarryn, I actually can't express how thankful we are to have you on this episode. And I know that any mum in the city of Casey will be lucky enough to come and work on this program with you. As I mentioned before, all the information will be in the description below. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, our social media accounts. I hope you have a good day and be safe.
Thanks, everyone. Take care, and thanks, Ellie, for having me.
You're welcome.